Alrighty, so we're going to record a video with hopefully no dogs, cats, zebras, small children, deliveries, in-laws, or anything making noise in the process of the next 19 minutes and 30 seconds. I have one of my good friends, Melanie, on with us this morning, a pure unicorn in the annuity sense, stumbled on it and has mastered it in record time, a vital, ethical producer in her market, helping seniors on a regular basis. And she did a topic in our agency training yesterday that I just had to put out there on YouTube. A lot of the training you might be watching on YouTube, a few folks have already heard, and it's kind of like a repeat to them. This might be a repeat to some, might be new to you. Melanie, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about being 3 feet from our goal. Just 3 feet.
I'm like 3 feet from laundry that's nearly finished. I don't think it's exactly the same thing, but tell us today your theory on being 3 feet from a goal.
3 feet from a goal is just almost there. You know, in the industry, you go out, you work, and sometimes you get beat up and you get defeated, and you just don't realize how close you are. And if you just take that extra step, 3 feet, just one more door knock, just one more phone call, one more opportunity to see one more person, you might hit your gold mine.
So I think a lot of people, and this is a question we commonly tackle, click on and watch videos for people that quit too soon. We all might not recognize, maybe we are now, that we're really close to where we want to be. But why do you think people quit along the way?
They get into their heads. They get defeated. They feel defeated because maybe they haven't just had a bad day. Maybe they've had a bad couple of days. And they just can't seem to get self-motivated to get out there and help somebody. So I feel like you have to have a passion for what you do. And that's what keeps me going some days, because there are some days it rains, the clouds are coming up. Oh gosh, it's cold outside. The houses I'm going to go to aren't going to have a porch, and it's going to make it difficult. But you just have to keep pushing you, because at the end of the day, for me, I have 2 purposes. Number 1, to help people, sincerely help people. And number 2, to be able to provide for my family. And so that just means some days I have to dig when I don't want to. But the beauty of it is that when you dig and you don't want to, and you hit that goal or you hit that gold mine, then guess what? You might have the opportunity to take a couple of days off after that.
I think sometimes when people have trouble because they're having a bad day, they're not isolating one day from the next. I think having a short-term memory, having a long-term vision are essential. Are there any tricks that you use to forget how good or bad yesterday was so you can take full advantage of today?
Yes, if I have a bad day, then it actually self-motivates me to do better, to do better the next day. I don't like being in the industry or being out in the field and having, 1 0 day is one thing, having 2 or 3 is another. So I just have some self-motivation of, I want money in my bank account. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to go to the gas station and swipe my debit card and not worry about how much gas I put in. Or when I went to Walmart a couple of weeks ago and about fell out when I swiped the debit card, and it's nice. So, money doesn't motivate me, but money definitely helps prepare for my family and take care of us. And so, if I have a bad day, I try not to make it a bad week. I just have to come in and refocus and just have, a sincere heart-to-heart talk with myself and realize why I'm doing this. And I'm helping people. I'm sincerely helping people.
I think that sometimes we discount this, but amazing work ethic, which provides amazing income, typically solves most problems that people can't solve in other lines of life. Like worrying about inflation at the grocery store. It sucks. It sucks to be those people that are affected by that.
Right.
But if you work hard in this industry, you make a boatload of money. It's like, it doesn't really affect you the same way, thankfully, because of the opportunity we have. Things like gas prices 1 month were $4 a gallon. They might have been $3. I might not have even looked. I just had to put gas in the car to go see people. And focusing on my controllables maybe is the root of that. I mean, I don't want to discount people that struggle with things costing money, but right. I can't control that. I can control the money I make and the effort that gets me there. Let's talk about this business from a female's perspective.
Okay.
There's a lot of successful female agents. There's a lot of female agents that don't make it for one reason or the other.
Mhm.
Give me some industry insight as a female agent.
Well, now this is my opinion. Okay.
Mhm.
Sometimes I feel like that females, we have a different makeup, and we have sometimes a more caring and a compassionate approach. We have a little bit more patience than sometimes the guys do, the gentlemen do. So I feel like sometimes being a female, I really feel like that I have a little bit of an upper advantage of the guys, because my presentation comes across maybe sometimes softer, my tone, my body language, and for me, I meet with males and females all day long, but for me, when I go to a door, if a female answers the door, she's probably going to be a little bit more prone to opening the door to me versus a man who's knocking at the door she doesn't know. So I feel like I have the opportunity when I knock on a door, whether a gentleman or a lady come to the door, I have a little bit more edge on getting through that door than what a gentleman would, because I personally know if some gentleman came and knocked on my door, I don't know that I would let them in if I'm not expecting them. And I do a lot of cold knocks. I don't make appointments. I just show up because nothing good ever happens over the phone. They filled out the card. They want my information, and I'm there to deliver it. So I just feel like sometimes as a female, we have a little bit of an edge. Now, people may disagree with me. I think these younger females, these millenniums, I don't know that they have the advantage of someone who's a little bit more seasoned or a little bit more older, because to them it's all about technology, and they just don't tend to have the care and the passion or just the softness that us older women do.
Good point. I think what you're doing is you're utilizing your advantages to your advantage. I think sometimes people don't take the time to realize what works for them and what doesn't, double down on what works and stop doing what doesn't. And
Right.
you realized, hey, I can use this to my advantage, which helps, versus
Right.
people that might use it to their fear. Do you ever recognize on that same vein things that haven't been working and then stop doing them?
Yes. So I have a love-hate relationship with leaving door notices. And I have done the experience of I changed my voicemail on my phone that specifically targeted and said, hey, if I left you a door notice, please leave me a day and a time to come back. Well, because they are under the impression that it's a package, they're blowing my phone up. Well, by the time they get home and get that door notice, I may be in a home. And it is such a big distraction to be in a home trying to help somebody, even though I have my phone muted, but my watch is vibrating on my arm, my phone's going off, and I've got this person calling me back to back to back, and they're not taking the time to listen to the specific voicemail that I've set up for this. So there's been times where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not doing door notices. And then there's times where I'm like, what the heck? I don't, maybe I get through all my leads Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm just circling back around. So maybe on Thursday and Friday, I'll leave the door notices, because if they do call me, I might be in a position to just stop and go back to their home. So door notices, don't hate them, but sometimes I don't love them.
Do you use Google Voice for your door notice number?
No, I do not. I started Google Voice when I started in this business 3 years ago, because I was told not to use my personal cell phone. It wasn't the best option. Go with the Google Voice. Personally, for me, I hated it. The reason why I hated it is because all the junk text messages, because I'm very OCD, the junk text messages, the junk phone calls that were coming in just drove me crazy. And then sometimes it would not notify me for 2 or 3 days that I had a voicemail. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this and I'm going to change my career and I'm going to love what I do, and I truly want to meet with these people and tell them that I'm their agent for life and they have me forever and I'm part of their family, why can't they have the same cell phone number that my mother calls? And in the last 3 years, I really have a lot of clients that have not taken advantage of that. They call me when they need me or they text me. And so for me, it's just worked out okay to have my personal cell phone on my business cards and to give to my clients.
Good. I use Google Voice for my delivery stickers. I set it up that way, and maybe there's a few tweaks we can make on your account so it works the right way. but I'll tell you what it says on mine, and it's hilarious. And I don't use them as often. I mostly run appointments, but it says, "You've missed an important delivery. Please leave your information and someone will contact you." And the way they hear it is it sounds like it says, "You've missed a court delivery." You're like, "Oh, man, I wanna go back to court." Wah! And they call incessantly. And the funniest delivery sticker story I can share before we get into your topic a little bit further is years and years ago when I was door knocking 5-6 days a week and I left these things out like candy. I had this lady call over and over and over again, and I wasn't in the field, I wasn't in the city, I wasn't working. And at one point, she leaves this notice that says, "Well, I guess I'm just going to have to get all my money back. I'm just going to just cancel this, and I want my money back." What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
She thought you had the lottery winnings for her.
Yeah, I never went back. She probably would have canceled the insurance too, so saved me the trouble. So let's talk about being 3 feet from your goal, 2 feet, 1 feet from your goal, achieving your goal, and then rewarding yourself.
Okay.
How do you like to reward yourself for achieving a goal?
I secretly spend money that my husband doesn't know because I love Louis Vuitton bags.
Hopefully he's not subscribed to our YouTube channel because you may have just blown your cover.
Right? I work hard. You know, it's like I say, I work hard, I play hard. But I'm also 56 years old. And when I was 30 years old, I probably would have worked hard and I would have had a lot more responsibilities. I was a single mother. So I had a child I had to take care of by myself. But I'm to the position in my life to where this job really provides for me. I don't know that I could have. I've said before, I wish I would have got into the insurance business in my 20s instead of property management. But I don't know that that would have been the right season for me. I think seasons and opportunities come into our life at the right time. So I think this insurance opportunity came into my life at the right time for my needs, my wants, and just being able to, help me and develop me. Maybe I wouldn't have been as good of that's probably not even a word to put with that, but I might not have been as well knowledgeable in my younger years than I am now. So I feel like just the strengths and the weaknesses now and knowing and the training and finding the right company, but it allows me to work hard. It allows me to play hard. It allows me the freedom when something pops up. If I'm midstream and I don't have an appointment, I can stop and go do it. And a lot of times that happens in our lives. So that's it.
Let me ask you to speak to somebody who's watching the video who might be in their late 20s, early 30s. What insight or suggestions or advice would you give somebody knowing they might need to hear it from, they might be you in the past, but really want to seize full opportunity of this business?
I would tell them it's an easy job sometimes, and it is very rewarding. But something that I will tell a younger individual, you need to make sure that you have things lined up before you get into this industry, because you do have to put money out. The old saying, you got to spend money to make money, and you do. And so that's probably one thing that would not have worked for me or worked for someone, because, 20, 30-year-olds, for the most part, they don't have yet, most of them, not all of them, don't really have a good nest egg saved up. Or maybe they don't have a good support system at home. For me, now that I think about it, I was 30 years old. I was a single parent. There is no way I could have afforded to pay for my mortgage, pay for the things that my daughter was doing, put food on the table, and spend $1,000 or better a week in leads. Because to me, I would have been like, oh my God, I don't even have the money to pay the mortgage and I've got to spend the money on leads, not understanding that $1,000 in leads could turn into $5,000 or $6,000 in income the following week. But I was not set up that way. So I will tell somebody who's young, and I think that's another reason why they say agents only make it in the field. Past 3 years, a lot of agents pull out the first or second year. And if I would not have had some financial things set up, and if I would not have had a strong supporting partner at home to help me through some of my valleys when I was not always on the mountains, I probably would have given up. So someone who's young, they should reach out to a not an older person, but I feel like they should reach out to somebody who has been in the industry 4, 5, 6 years and find out how that year 1, 2, and 3 looks in regards to growing their business, being financially able and set up. But they've also got to find the right mentor, because when I was thinking about getting into this business about 3 years ago, I reached out to somebody who had been in the business about 5 or 6 years, and all they wanted to do was brag to me about how they had been in the business, and most agents fail, and most agents this and that. And I was just trying to find out, say, hey, can I ride with you for the day? And I just felt like I was being shot down because this individual was more concerned about boasting on themselves and basically telling me before I even got started that, hey, it's a tough road and you're probably not going to make it. So if someone's young, get a good mentor and talk to somebody.
That kind of speaks to the value of mentorship, which was the next question I can already cross off the list. Speak to me in brevity, in 60 seconds, the value of structure in your business.
It's very important because even though I am my own business owner, I create my schedule. I do what I need to do. I have to still have structure. No, I might not have to be up and be sitting in the car at 8:30 in the morning, but every night, every weekend, I need to plan out the structure of my week because things happen. There were 2 days this week that I was ready to go in the field, and then I started having clients call me. And I know that, we prefer to do admin in the evening. But again, that's where my OCD kicks in. I'm the type of person, touch it, do it, one, done, move on to the next. So you have to have some structure. You have to have some type of schedule set up for yourself so that you can stay on track.
I think sometimes agents in this industry struggle with the misunderstanding that being an independent agent, what that means, truthfully, is you can sell multiple carriers to your clients. It doesn't necessarily mean you operate with pure unwanted independence in the woods. Like that's not exactly what the word independence means. Independent business means I can sell a lot of companies. Doesn't mean I don't need a structure. I don't need accountability. I don't need support. I don't need self-accountability, presence around others. It's just a common misunderstanding I think we sometimes get. Captivity means I sell one company. Independent means I sell a lot of companies. Doesn't mean I'm an Uber driver just out there in the ethos with no structure. In closing, you worked in property management, it sounded like before. Do you feel like in your past there were any experiences or job skills that helped you be successful in this industry?
Organization. I was in property management for 15 years, and I oversaw 3 states with about 21 communities, and I had to make sure I was always taking care of my managers before I took care of myself. So a lot of the discipline that I learned in the property management, how to structure things, how to multitask, how to jump from A to D, back to B and around, that I feel like that helped me in this business.
Yeah, I feel like, and I could be wrong, a lot of times people that make it in this business had some prior exposure that taught them something that transfers directly into this business.
I agree.
That's why a lot of times young folks really have it hard because they haven't had it wrong before. They haven't been, they haven't really learned anything before. Like I worked as a paramedic for years where there was no over the shoulder kind of supervision. I worked in a lot of 1099 self-controlled environments where I just had to show up the day I told them I was going to show up, and that was on me to do. So I never worked in an office or anything like that. In closing, you are finding your way into being really good at asking one more question, that one more question being annuity based, and writing a good portion, a good amount of annuities for almost no experience with it. Give us some insight on that.
I actually stumbled into it. I was doing a presentation at one of my senior centers, and I went in, made an appointment, and went back to help a young lady get a life insurance policy. She didn't have one. Well, her mother in her 70s came in, and we were talking, and just somehow, I don't even honestly remember, I said something about investments or 401k. And her mother spoke up, and I just went with it. And I don't mean that in like a pray, oh my God, there's all this money. I mean, I just went with it. And then I talked to her sincerely. about the product and what was out there, because I personally, a couple of years ago, helped my mother condense about 7 or 8 of her financial investments into 2. Because I'm thinking when my mom passes away, my sister and I are going to be running around the world trying to figure out where all this is at. It doesn't make sense. And so just by basically a hiccup of an uh-oh, I have now incorporated just a small snippet in every presentation, whether I'm in a home or doing a presentation at a senior center. At the end, when we're closed up, I'm doing my warm down, I'm giving them their information about their current policy, then I'll just throw it out. Hey, listen, I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, but if you have any type of investments or maybe a 401k that when you left a job is just sitting there and it's only making 2 or 3%, I have access to products that will give you a very, very good return on your money. And some of the carriers that I'm working with right now are actually offering you a free bonus just to move your money. And so I don't hit on it really hard, but just enough to put that bug in their head. And I think I'm up to 6 or 7 annuities right now that I've written by doing that.
Yeah, just to provide some credibility to those watching, she's written and nearly received all of the commission on $1.5 million of annuity business over the course of the last 4 months. Let's just say
I wrote my first annuity on December the 27th. And I will tell you, it is very, very tedious. The corrections and things that you get into. And what I'm finding that's blocking us isn't what I'm doing. It isn't what the client's doing or the carrier I've picked. It's the carrier or the company we're trying to get the money from. They're doing everything in their power to keep that money before they will transfer it to the new carrier that we've chosen. So that's been a struggle, and you can't give up. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you are on track to issue $3 to $4 million of annuity business this year, which would win a trip to Africa by some carriers' trips, which would be one of the top annuity producers across the industry. And it isn't even like your main bread and butter business, but it also comes down to something simple. And I'm going to close with this concept to anybody watching. Ask one more question, be it a Medicare cross sale, a referral, an annuity, critical illness, Medicare supplement. Ask one extra question, and you're not going to get a ton of extra business, but you're going to get a little bit of extra business along the way. By asking one extra question, you'll be able to learn the cross sale slowly while still supporting your main business. So, Melanie, thanks for joining me today on our video on being 3 feet from your goal, you achieving your goal on a regular basis, and showing others that it can be done by leading from the front. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't be that person watching that isn't subscribed. It's kind of strange. We appreciate your subscriptions, and we will see you on the next video.
Bye.
There it is. Okay.